says something offensive about your job, your body, your past, and watches how you react. Most men defend themselves. They explain. They justify. But a man who truly embodies grounded masculinity doesn't flinch. He smiles because he knows what she's doing. This isn't about disrespect. It's a test, a subconscious attempt to feel the strength of your center. Women don't always test with logic. They test with pressure. They want to know, is your confidence real, or does it crack when it's poked? The first hidden sign is disguised as criticism, and if you fail it, she'll never say it out loud, but her respect for you takes a hit. It's not about agreeing with her. It's about staying grounded in yourself even when challenged. She cancels plans last minute, not because she's busy, but to see how you respond. This is the second hidden test. Most men either get angry or instantly try to reschedule. Both fail. One shows emotional instability, the other shows neediness. But the grounded man? He shrugs it off. He keeps moving. He doesn't chase, doesn't beg for time, doesn't give her emotional power. And that response, calm, detached, centered, triggers a deep reaction in her. Because it tells her something primal. This man's world doesn't collapse around a woman's absence. He is whole with or without her. That's rare. And that's magnetic. When you don't flinch, she feels safe. Even if she doesn't admit it. She flirts with another man in front of you. Not because she wants him, but because she wants to see how much control she has over your emotions. This is the third hidden test. It's subtle, and most men fail it instantly. They show jealousy. They become reactive. They try to assert dominance or pull her away. But what she's really watching is your emotional temperature. If you stay cool, composed, even slightly amused, you pass. Because it shows her you don't see other men as threats. That your sense of worth isn't tied to her loyalty in a moment. And that tells her something deeper. This man is secure. He doesn't compete. He attracts. That kind of composure? That's the signal of masculine mastery. If you're resonating with this so far, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss what she's really thinking. She suddenly becomes cold and distant after an intimate moment. You think something's wrong. Maybe she's losing interest. Maybe you said something. But what you don't realize is, this is her fourth hidden test. She's not punishing you. She's observing you. She wants to know if you'll chase, if you'll beg for connection, if you'll collapse emotionally at the first sign of withdrawal. Most men do. They start over-texting, over-explaining, over-apologizing. But the man who passes this test, he gives her space. He doesn't flinch. He trusts himself and lets her come back on her own. That restraint doesn't create distance. It creates desire. Because in that moment, she sees you're not afraid to lose her. And nothing is more attractive than that. She starts making passive-aggressive jokes, little comments about your clothes, your ideas, your friends. Most guys either get defensive or laugh along just to keep the peace. But this is a hidden test, a test of your internal security. She's not looking for perfection. She's looking for self-possession. The man who passes doesn't snap back or grovel. He holds frame. He might tease her back lightly or simply smile, unbothered, because he knows when a woman pokes, she's asking, "Are you grounded enough to handle me?" And if your self-worth depends on her approval, you fail. But if you can stay centered in the storm, she'll lean in closer, because she knows your power isn't surface level. It's in your stillness. She withdraws affection, not just physically, but emotionally. Suddenly her texts are shorter. Her eyes don't light up like before. Most men panic here. They chase. They over-explain. They try to fix something that isn't broken. But this withdrawal, it's a test of your emotional independence. She's asking, can you stay composed when I pull away? The attractive man doesn't flinch. He doesn't start demanding attention or reassurance. He stays rooted in his path. He gives her space without punishment. He remains warm, but detached. Because real strength isn't reactive, it's magnetic. And in that still confidence, she feels what words can't deliver, that you are not afraid to lose her. That's when she starts moving closer again, not because you forced her, but because your energy pulled her back. Another hidden test comes when she challenges your decisions, subtly at first. Maybe it's questioning your restaurant choice, doubting your weekend plans, or laughing at your goals. Most men interpret this as disrespect, but a high-value man sees the deeper layer. She's checking your conviction. She wants to feel the gravity of your certainty, because if you can't hold your frame in the small things, how will you lead in the big ones? The attractive man doesn't argue. He doesn't defend. He simply smiles, maybe pauses, then repeats himself, calmly, without needing agreement. That unshakable steadiness, it's deeply masculine, and it tells her everything, that you don't need validation to believe in your choices. One of the most subtle tests is silence. She pulls back communication, not because she's lost interest, but to see how you react. Will you chase? Will you spiral? Or will you stay composed? Most men flood her phone, overthink every hour of no reply. But a masculine man understands the power of space. He doesn't need to fill the silence. He becomes it. His energy speaks even louder when he says nothing. That detachment isn't cold, it's magnetic. Because deep down, she's not testing your need for her. She's testing your connection to yourself. And when you pass, she feels safer than ever. Safe to lean back into your frame. Another hidden test, she brings up her ex. Not to hurt you, but to provoke a subtle emotional response. Will you compete? Get jealous? Try to prove you're better? Most men fail this test because their ego steps in. But a grounded man knows, if she's still talking about the past, it's her unresolved energy, not his problem to fix. He listens, maybe smiles, but doesn't flinch. Because true masculinity isn't about dominating her history. It's about embodying presence so powerfully that no ghost can survive in the room. When you don't bite the bait, you show her. You're not here to play games. You are the game. She might also test you through silence. Not angry silence, just absence. A pause in texting, a slower reply, a missed call. This isn't always manipulation. Sometimes it's subconscious. But it's a test of your emotional regulation. Do you spiral? Do you double text? Ask if something's wrong? Chase her validation? Or do you stay still, rooted, letting her energy come back to you? Masculine presence doesn't chase chaos. It observes, it waits, it trusts. When you pass this test, you communicate something primal. I don't fear your distance. I don't beg for your attention. I am the anchor. You return when you're ready. Another hidden test is in how she responds to your purpose. Not your job, your purpose. If you cancel your plans, delay your goals, or shift your direction just to be with her more, she notices. She might even smile or thank you in the moment. But inside, something changes. Respect begins to crack. Because she wants to orbit your world, not become your world. When you stay committed to your mission, even when it means less time together, she feels safer. It tells her, this man won't collapse into me. He has a direction, a spine, a fire I can trust. Now consider this. She challenges your ideas, not to argue, but to see if you defend your truth. If every time she questions you, you fold, backtrack, or seek approval, she registers weakness. Not because she wants a dictator, but because a man who abandons his thoughts just to keep the peace is a man who can't protect her in chaos. She wants to feel your inner ground. She needs to see that you can stay calm, curious, but firm, that you can listen without losing yourself. There's a hidden desire in women to feel overpowered, not physically, but energetically. That doesn't mean being loud or forceful. It means being so rooted in your presence that nothing she does can shake you. When you're unfazed by her emotional spikes, her teasing, her silences, it sends a signal. A deep, subconscious signal that says, "This man is sovereign. He doesn't need my validation. He doesn't chase affection. He commands respect without asking for it." She may roll her eyes, act disinterested, or even flirt with another guy in front of you, not because she truly wants him, but because she's measuring your response. Will you crumble? Will you react with jealousy, anger, or desperation? Or will you remain grounded, calm, and unattached? A masculine man doesn't compete. He simply removes his attention from situations that don't honor his presence, and that paradoxically pulls her back in stronger. One of the most misunderstood tests is when she picks a fight over something trivial. It could be your tone, your lateness, or the way you looked at her. But what she's really doing is poking at your frame. Can she shake it? Can she get you to lose composure? A stoic man doesn't get pulled into emotional chaos. He responds, not reacts. He listens with presence, speaks with clarity, and doesn't mirror her volatility. In doing so, he becomes the safe harbor she didn't even know she was seeking. When she withdraws affection unexpectedly, it's rarely about punishment. It's often a subconscious probe. Will you chase? Will you panic? A man grounded in his masculine doesn't rush to fix what isn't broken. He honors her space, maintains his rhythm, and doesn't seek validation in her warmth or coldness. This isn't about being cold. This is about being complete. And ironically, the moment she feels you don't crumble in her silence, she starts leaning back in with more desire than before. One of the most hidden tests of masculinity is how you respond to emotional inconsistency. Women instinctively notice whether your emotions are reactive or self-regulated. If every time she pulls back, you spiral into overthinking, pleading, or neediness, she senses instability, not strength. But when you remain steady, even playful, while respecting her distance, you demonstrate inner abundance. You're not seeking emotional handouts. You're anchored, not drifting. And that, more than any words, signals true masculine presence. Another subtle test is when she criticizes you, but not directly. It might be a comment about how other men are more ambitious, more confident, more manly. It's not an attack. It's bait. She wants to see if you'll defend yourself like a boy or smile like a man. Masculine energy doesn't need validation. It holds space for opinion without shrinking. When you absorb critique without letting it shake your self-image, you're not just passing her test, you're rewriting her standard. Sometimes she'll go silent. She won't text first. She won't initiate plans. And it's not because she's over you. It's because she wants to see if your mind unravels without her attention. This is the test of emotional stability. Do you panic, chase, or do you remain grounded, focused, unshaken? The masculine frame isn't desperate. It doesn't seek reassurance. It radiates self-certainty. Your silence in response to her silence often says more than 1,000 clever messages ever could. And finally, she'll watch how you handle her storms. The mood swings, the provocations, the emotional chaos. Not because she wants to hurt you, but because she wants to know, can you remain calm in the fire? Can you hold your ground when everything feels unstable? This is the ultimate test of masculinity, not in your words, not in your wealth, but in your presence. The man who can lead through turbulence without losing his center becomes unforgettable, not because he tried to be, but because he already was. And she'll never stop thinking about him.